Oh, goodness. If you aren't from Florida, you may not be aware of the water quality issues that are taking place here, and it's been going on for some time.
Around the turn of the century, man came to Florida, lots of great natural resources, the ocean, wonderful coastlines, the weather was good for people's health. There was a great mass of people that came to Florida around that time. There was one thing in the way they had to tame, an impenetrable swamp called the Everglades. And in those days, there wasn't much of an ecological movement. It was all about coming to Florida and making money.
Our government, they saw no value for the Everglades. They wanted to turn the Everglades into farmland. They started by cutting huge drainage canals to drain water off the Glades and out of Lake Okeechobee. And then, following two major hurricanes in the 1920s, they built a dam all the way around Lake O. And that dam is at the root of a lot of our problems now. The Herbert Hoover Dike around Lake Okeechobee allowed our federal government to drain about half of the Everglades. And today, that drained land south of Lake Okeechobee is agricultural. It's the Everglades agricultural area. A big part of that agricultural area is planted in sugarcane. Much of our water management practices today revolve around protecting those sugarcane fields, those farms, and ensuring proper irrigation at all times of year.
Basically, where the sugarcane is grown, where the EAA is, was once a great wetland, and that's where the water used to go naturally from the lake on its way to the Everglades. Now, the water table is artificially low. It's the only parcel in Florida, South Florida, during the wet season that is perfectly high and dry, and during droughts and dry season, it's perfectly irrigated with Lake Okeechobee water. So it's a great setup. It's a wonderful thing. It's guaranteed profits. And the sugar companies, there's 3 or 4 large sugar companies operating EAA today.
With all that being said, there's a chance to save this. There's a plan in place to create a flowway south into Florida Bay to help restore the natural flow of water out of the Kissimmee Basin. The St. Lucie River is in my backyard. Those are my home waters. This is an area that I fish quite often and have so for the last 20-something years. So I'm seeing the changes, I'm seeing the damage. It's a great estuary. At one point, it was one of the most diverse estuaries within a 10 square mile of the St. Lucie Inlet, but that's all changed. The fishing has changed, the water has changed, and not for the better. Talking with Mike, we had a little something different in store for our fishing day. We thought to ourselves, why don't we document what the water's like, what the fishing is like. Let's start, near the inlet, and let's work our way up to the locks, and then maybe head up to the north around the power plant. So what we're gonna do is try some different areas, see what the water quality was like, and see what the fishing was like and how much life was in the areas.
There he is. Come on.
There he is.
Good job.
See that topwater bite?
Man, he wasn't gonna be denied that fish.
Oh, little jack.
Yeah. See what I get.
God, they love this rough water like this.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning with these estuaries.
They don't get a great look at anything artificial, just kind of chop.
Just ambushing this bait
Yeah.
on the seawalls. God, look how dirty that water is, though, Mike.
It's filthy. Can't see a thing, Barely see that jack.
Probably one of the most underrated fish.
A steady little jack.
These walls are filled with these things, especially early in the morning when they're just chasing mullet up against the seawalls. Using these walls as ambush points, and if you can just get a topwater plug out there, just cover a lot of water with a plug, you can have a lot of fun with these guys. Get him back in the water.
It's heart-wrenching to see how much the Indian River Lagoon Estuary and the St. Lucie River have changed in just the last handful of years. We've lost the vast majority of our seagrasses, our oyster reefs are dying, and in general, our fisheries have really struggled because of issues associated with Florida's broken plumbing. The way water moves through our state is entirely unnatural. And while we'll never be able to go back to the way it was 100 years ago, we need to get it moving in the direction it's meant to move, and that's from north to south.
The Everglades watershed starts around Orlando, Shingle Creek. Water flows south to the Kissimmee River, which once was a meandering river and is now being restored to become that again. But the water would come to the lake would overflow naturally over its banks, the southern banks, and the water would continue south.
Real-Time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
What's unique about the Stewart area is its diversity. You have world-class inshore fishing, and then a short trip offshore, you have, incredible pelagic fishing. You also have the proximity to the Gulf Stream and the proximity to the Bahamas, which makes it, an ideal jumping off location for a lot of people looking to travel to the islands. You have that shortcut through Lake Okeechobee, through a series of locks. That's why it's such a popular destination for boaters.
Huh.
There he is, there he is.
Yep. Good deal. Come on, line sider this time.
Nope,
Yep.
feels jack-like.
The longer it doesn't jump, the less chance. Ooh, that's fine looking foam back there. Look at that lovely foam, huh?
Yeah,
Ugh.
I wonder where that came from.
Jack-like?
Yeah.
Quite jack-like. Come on, snook. Come on, baby. A little smaller.
Pinch the black dots. Get them under control. Look at that. It's just like a mullet. That's what they're eating on these walls.
Yeah.
Just ambush points. Snook and jack. Opportunistic feeders.
Florida's coastal ecosystems are under attack right now, and year after year, this damage is adding up. Even given just a brief respite, our ecosystems will recover. This past summer, we saw seagrass recovering in the Indian River Lagoon in places that had been absent for several years. Now, post-Irma, with huge freshwater discharges entering our system, that grass is gone again.
This used to be vast seagrasses. I mean, we can see pictures of where this whole sailfish flats were just at one point just acres of grass. And today,
that holds
what
all
is
your
it now?
shrimp. That holds your shrimp, holds your pinfish. And the pinfish are gone.
Yeah.
The pinfish have been
just
gone.
sand. That's
I know
just
it's
complete
sand. Looks
sand
like
now.
Bahamas Bank out there. Everybody says, look how pretty the water is, but look how barren the bottom is. So it's just, we need relief. We need 5-10 years of relief and more. But
So what I thought we'd do today is maybe start here, maybe work our way to the north, maybe check that out, and then maybe take that trip up to the locks and see that water that's coming out.
It's coming out today about 3 billion gallons a day.
3
3 billion gallons per day right now through the S80 locks.
And it's funny, they put a number on it. It's always cubic feet per second, which is difficult to decipher. Nobody wants to say how many gallons a day.
Yeah,
what
I always say
equates.
gallons. I get my phone, I can convert it in about 12 seconds to gallons. Gallons makes people understand how much water we're dealing with.
And we're talking about a lake at what's the level right now?
It's like 16.8 right now, so it's going down, but slowly, painfully slowly. There's still a lot of water coming in from the north.
Oh, nice! That's a snook, isn't it? No?
I think it is.
If it is, it's a good one.
Might be a snook. Looked a little longer, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Or we just wanted that bad?
Yeah, I think we did.
We just wanted so bad to be a snook, it looked like a snook. Yeah. When they don't jump, it's a jack. Jeez. Oh well. It just looked longer at the strike, Wishful thinking. This jack's shy. Come on out here. Come on out here. Come on out here. Come on out here. If these fish are good to eat, George, there wouldn't be any.
I always say that if they were
Pretty
good
good
eating or if they jumped,
It's a pretty good fish.
they would
I know.
be
I know it.
fished every day by everybody.
I know it. I know it. Whoa!
Nice one.
Long distance release.
You know what? I'm gonna check this really quick. We're getting plenty of action.
Yeah.
So we're at about 19,000 parts per 19
19. Just
1,000
19. Yeah, 19
parts per
parts.
thousand. So where should we be in natural seawater?
35.
35.
35.
So
In an estuary like this, 25 is
about
pretty
half.
good. 25, 25, 26, 27.
we'll see how that progresses today with the bite.
Yeah. Probably 70% of the seagrass coverage from Fort Pierce south to the St. Lucie Inlet is gone. It's gone because of months and months of dirty, fresh water, and the seagrasses have died. In a Stewart and the Caloosahatchee, we have cyanobacteria blooms. And when cyanobacteria blooms, it can become toxic. In fact, it has become toxic in 3 or 4 occasions in the last 10, 12 years.
If we don't act now to fix these problems, there's going to be a point where there's no coming back.
Real-Time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Yeti Coolers, built for the wild.
These freshwater discharges that are coming out of Lake Okeechobee into the St. Lucie, the Caloosahatchee, are causing issues that are affecting all of South Florida, not just the East Coast, but the West Coast and Florida Bay as well.
You know, while I really wanted to come over here and kind of bring light to this whole water issue, I know you guys are dealing with the same exact issues at the Caloosahatchee that we are on the East Coast at the St. Lucie River. You know, this dumping of Lake Okeechobee has come to the forefront, you know, of people's attention. I think it's a little different this year. You know, we had this wet winter, which is normally not, you know, when we have these discharges. This year we had a super wet winter from the El Nino, you know, and we're already dumped up to, I think it's 100 billion gallons have been dumped into the Caloosahatchee and the St. Lucie River. Knew they were here, finally got the bite. Good fish.
It's just a waiting game with these tarpon. We saw them rolling. We had the baits there. It's just, they're really picky sometimes, so you just got to convince one of them to eat.
Yeah, we had a couple lines out, 3 lines out. One gets hit, it turns into a circus show. These guys will stretch you out really quick, try to get on top of them. They'll dump a spool before you know it.
There's such respect. The guys just reel it in. You don't even have to ask. They all know that you're hooked up and they don't want to mess with you.
Reel, 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 reel. Oh my God, it's crazy. You got all these other boats out here. Everybody's nice enough to reel up. There's old Dan over there from Captains to Clean Water, trying to put his clients on him. Good guy. We're just trying to roll him up over his back. It's not deep water, so he can't really go down. Normally when they jump a bunch, they wear themselves out. This is what this area is really known for. This, you know, this Fort Myers, Sanibel, this whole area through here. You can, you know, we went through several boats, but there's a bunch of captains out here with clients today, and it's a huge destination, huge, you know, bit for the tourism board. This people travel all over the world to come here to catch these things. He's right there. That's a big fish.
Oh yeah, he's about probably 110, 125 pounds. I'd say 120.
Well, how about we snook fish after this, brother?
We can definitely do that.
One and done on these, man.
Oh yeah, no, they'll break your back for sure. You'll be sore tomorrow.
Oh, right in the top of his mouth. How perfect is that hook set? Wow. Get her, bro! Yoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Woo! That's it. That's the one we came for.
Oh yeah.
Get my hands on her. I got her.
You got her?
Yep.
Careful.
That's a solid. Look how fat that fish is.
It's probably about 140 pounds, I'd say.
That is a solid fish.
Awesome.
God, that trocar was right in the top of her mouth.
Right in the top of the button.
I could have used 40-pound fluoro. Wouldn't have mattered. Look at that. She's nice and healthy. There she is.
All right.
Woo!
Nice job, man.
Thanks for putting me
That was a
on it,
great
brother.
fish.
God.
That was an awesome fish.
Oh.
I think it was probably about, I'd say 140, 150 pounds. She had some thick shoulders on her.
I don't want another one. Oh.
When we look at Florida's coastal ecosystems, we have to think of them as one big critically ill patient. And while there's different issues in different parts of our state, it all comes down to fixing our water woes. In certain parts of our state, septic tanks are the prime culprit for pollution that's affecting the health of our waterways. In other areas, it's fertilizer. Here, in the St. Lucie estuary, it's discharges out of Lake Okeechobee. When you look at these freshwater discharges, you have to remember that no matter how clean that water is, it's still pollution. 1 billion gallons a day of fresh water pouring into a salty environment can kill our seagrasses, our oysters, and affect the health of many of our fish.
Right here is kind of a funnel where the St. Lucie, the North Fork and the South Fork of the St. Lucie River kind of all spill out of here. And this is, you know, an integral part of this estuary. This is a great habitat for snook and other game fish and bait fish, and they can't live in that.
We have all these influxes. We got like 6, 7 canals that empty from western interior. 4 majors beside the C-44, which is Lake Okeechobee. So you lump it all together, you got billions of gallons. We already had 80, 90 billions of gallons of water, fresh water, since June.
Real-Time Florida Sportsman is brought to you by Hook and Tackle, authentic performance fishing outfitters since 1963.
We were getting the bites. I had jumped off a smaller snook, and we were getting some bites from snooks and missing a couple. And then I threw that Yozuri in there, working it along a dock line, and I saw that snook come up and just roll on it. Before I could even get my plug all the way back in, I told Mike he was throwing a soft plastic. You know, he saw right where the bite was, threw that soft plastic in there, and he hooked up onto that snook.
There he is.
There he is, nice, snook, good job.
Yep.
Nice fish, great fish. I threw in there with that plug, you followed up with the soft plastic, that's what he wanted.
That's right. All right, little snook. All right, very good. Like I said, give me one lure in this river. That's it right there. Cool, man.
Nice little
There you
snook.
go, George, yeah. This snook's not super dark. It might come off the beach about 2 weeks ago, you know?
Well, you know,
Or the
this
same,
is what
sure.
this area is known for, this snook fishery.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
St. Lucie River, too, is really what I think kind of keeps them in this area. They're able to go up in that river in the wintertime and stay warm. And
Follow the food, yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, when you get this much discharge, it's going to have some kind of lasting effect. Look how dark he is in
Yeah.
this dark water.
Fins look pretty good considering.
Yeah.
So we decided, let's make the run up to the St. Lucie locks. And it's a journey. It's probably about a 10, 12 mile run from the inlet. But you can see as you progressed up the river, up into the St. Lucie, up into the South Fork, towards the locks, you could see how that water quality just continued to deteriorate. We took water salinity levels at the inlet and as we progressed towards the locks, and those salinity levels went from 20 parts per thousand to 0 by the time we got to the locks.
So this is it, Mike, St. Lucie locks.
Yes, sir. It's
How many-
S80. That's 80.
S80, how many gallons right there a day?
They ramped it back up to about 5,100 cubic feet per second, and that is 3.5 billion gallons a day.
3.5
every day.
billion gallons.
We've had this kind of flow for 4 months. We're going to be topping 100 billion gallons again this year in this estuary. After last year, we had over 170 billion. 2 years prior, we had 200 billion. We've had these discharges more than not over the last 4 years, more days than not.
And we're not the only ones affected. The Caloosahatchee on the west coast gets more than we do here on this coast. And ironically enough, the Everglades needs it and is not getting it.
They can't get there. They shun it to the east, they shun it to the west. And ironically, the water that does get to the Everglades through good projects one day has to be under 10 parts phosphorus. There is no limitation to the amount of fertilizer that can be in this water. It's probably 80, 100 parts phosphorus, which is, the fresh water alone is a pollutant. Even without all the chemicals and all the phosphorus and nitrogen, a freshwater influx like this is a pollutant because it upsets the salinity of a marine environment.
Right, regardless of whether this water is clean or dirty, it is not.
It could be Perrier, it wouldn't matter. It's volume, it's a volume problem, it's also a quality problem.
I mean, just look at the color of it. It's so turbid right now, you can't see
Well, it's
6
muddy.
inches.
It's very muddy this year, George, because Lake Okeechobee was turned over by Irma, and all that legacy sediment on the bottom of the lake, which has legacy pollution, was buck to the top, and we're getting it now. This is the muddiest I've ever seen a discharge event here in Stewart. So we're trying to get that sheet flow down there to Florida Bay. That's the key. We can rehydrate the bay. During dry season, we'll have enough fresh water. Wet season will have fresh water, and we'll divert that water and stop the discharge to both coasts.
It affects our fishery. It affects me personally as a full-time fishing guide. It's affecting the seagrass, it's affecting the oyster beds, and we're talking about, these are nurseries for fish for years to come.
For decades, Florida's water decisions were largely made by the agricultural industry. But in just the last year, we have shown that our voices as anglers, as boaters, as water users truly matter. By speaking up, we have the ability to save Florida's waters for our future.
I don't even know what to say. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Ready.
Come on out here. Come on, baby. Come on out here. What's going on here with the lines? You guys trying to make it more difficult?
Ready? Just let her go. All right. You're standing right where I was looking.